Welcome back from that short break. You're still watching New Vision TV News with me, Ruth Naseje. We'll take a look at the news in business.
In business today, the Uganda Airlines has been issued with an air operator certificate from the Civil Aviation Authority. The national carrier tweeted soon after the handover by the Finance Minister Matia Kasaija and Monique Ntege, the Works and Transport Minister, that it is all systems go at Uganda Airlines. Get ready to take off. Minister Ntege said the airlines had completed the 5-phase certification process required to obtain the air operator certificate as per the regulations. Paul Busharizi joins us to explain what this certificate is and what it means for the revived national carrier.
The airline operation certificate,
yes.
I think it's AOC, is to ensure that you have all your processes in order. Your planes are in good order, the people who are manning them are competent and can get the job done, and all other things surrounding that thing. Are you familiar with the route you're going to be flying and all that kind of business? So the AOC comes from the CAA, the Civil Aviation Authority, and it's a very important step to seeing Uganda Airlines fly again.
Is it the final one?
And they have another 30 to 90 days to finally get the green light to start carrying passengers. And I think that comes with a lot of approvals from the other civil aviation authorities that they will be flying to. Because now they're going to be making some flights. I think they've already made a flight to Nairobi, I think.
Yes, they made to Nairobi and Dar es Salaam.
Yes, and the aviation authorities there will also do their own tests. They also have some requirements they have to pass with the International Aviation Transport Authority or something.
Yes.
So yeah, it's an important step, no doubt.
What else? What else should we be excited about?
Well, the fact that it's about fly is exciting enough, I think, for most people.
Yes.
I think we should start seeing some more visible progress. I already see the adverts now in the paper. They can now advertise, I think, more aggressively than they could before. We should see, I think recruitments have already been done, but we should see we'll see a bit more activity. We might see their branding to start to appear all over the place. Yeah,
so we have hope.
No, I don't think there's any doubt that, especially once the planes came, that this airline was going to take off. But it's one thing to take off, and then it's another thing to continue in good business.
Keep in operation.
But let's be happy for.
Paul, if I should remind you, when the airline was restarting, you mentioned that this might be a failed project. Yeah. But here we are.
Well, just because you've got off the ground doesn't mean you're successful. I don't want to rain on their parade, but I mean, let's just say if it quacks like a duck and it waddles like a duck and it looks like a duck, then it must be a duck. Failure is the same.
Wow, that's Paul for you. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
That is it for the news and business. Now take a look at our Daily Pile of Africa series. They have long legs and necks. They are pinkish-orange in color and wet in water. We are talking about the flamingos. These bird species are commonly located at Lake Mnyanyange, which is located in the northeastern part of Katwe Kabatoro Town Council. The abundance of these flamingos is attributed to the constant migration from far places of Kenya and also Canada. Let's take a look. When you wade the waters of Lake Mnyanyange, tall, graceful and brightly colored pinkish-orange birds catch your eye. They're the most instantly recognizable wading birds in the world, the flamingo birds. In the midst of the other birds such as white-browed African hoopoes, winding desert criscolas, among so many others. Flamingos are the most recognizable wading birds in the world and special to the hearts of birders and non-birders. The flamingo bats migrate from as far as Kenya and even Canada. These end up settling at Lake Munyanyange. Flamingo stems from the word flamingo, a Spanish and Latin word which means fire, and refers to the bright color of the bird's feathers. The pink, orange, and red color of a flamingo's feathers is caused by a pigment in their food. A wild flamingo's diet includes spring, plankton, and algae from the water sources. If those water sources do not provide enough pigmentation, flamingos may seem more gray or white, but they are still healthy and strong. Flamingos' oddly shaped beaks are specially adapted to separate mud and sleet from the food they consume and uniquely are used upside down. Flamingos have a wild lifespan of 20 to 30 years. Many flamingos are threatened by predators and poachers. An adult flamingo bird is 3.3 to 4.6 feet tall and weigh between 3.3 to 9 pounds. Lake Munyanyange has now become a tourist area for bird watching and many tourists who come to Uganda. Now for more Pearl of Africa stories, visit our website www.newvision.co.ug. Our newspaper, The Sunday Vision, is also another home of adventures, so grab your copy every Sunday for Pearl of Africa stories. For more Pearl of Africa stories, visit our website, which is newvision.co.ug/Pearl of Africa. Our newspaper, The Sunday Vision, is also another home of adventures. Grab your copy every Sunday for Pearl of Africa stories. We now move on to our special report today. As the world marked the Day on Human Trafficking today, it is important to know that the vice is not new in Uganda. From people working and being exploited domestically to those exported across the borders, the trafficking still goes on to different parts of the world. Agnes Igoya, the commander at Immigration Training Academy, explains the phenomenon.
Ate office yetukola ebyo byonna tetubifunira mu kiyumba naye office.
Many of such videos are shared on various social media platforms showing the mistreatment suffered by Ugandan girls who go for employment in the Middle East. Most of these are duped into believing they are going for an employment opportunity of their lifetime, only to turn out into a nightmare. Those who have returned have had to go through rehabilitation to fit into society again. The commandant of Nakasongola Immigration Training Academy, Agnes Igoy, has been at the forefront of fighting human trafficking. She puts the vice in perspective. Let us break this down for the people watching us. What is human trafficking?
Human trafficking has been, defined in various ways. Actually, what brings us together when you look at the UN, Palermo Protocol of 2000, that's really when the global world made a big attempt to define what this big monster, which was before us, what it is. Because they were seeing, people being, recruited, people being transported, people being harbored, people being transferred, from place to place. And people were using, you're using deceit. Sometimes there's abductions. For example, here in Uganda, when we had children abducted by the Lord's Resistance Army, we have people who are looking for jobs, and the catchword is, do you need a job? And then you're saying yes.
You don't even ask what it is.
Yes, and then you are lured into this, and all that is done for the purposes of exploitation. So that's what trafficking. So it has to have an element of recruitment. Mm-hmm. You have to move sometimes from country to country, sometimes even within your own country. So there's also internal trafficking. Mm-hmm. And people recruit you for a purpose of exploitation.
The major element of trafficking, according to Igoya, is exploitation, which is abuse of basic human rights. It explains why in 2000, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Palermo Protocol that allows each country to fight the various forms of trafficking in their country. Besides illegally shipping people to work in various countries under unbearable circumstances, there are various forms of trafficking in Uganda.
In Uganda, we incorporated, the use of children in armed conflict because that was true to us, especially the Lord's Resistance Army, and also recruitment of children in rebel, forces. We looked at, harmful child labor. We looked at child marriages. Which is happening in Uganda and some other countries. We in the removal of organs, we don't only end on that. Do you need the kidney? It's not just that, but people are getting people's organs for rituals, use of witchcraft. Do you know that somebody can easily be told by a witch doctor that to have a building as beautiful as this, you need to bury somebody's head or one of somebody's organs so that you're successful in whatever business. Do you know that to harm your enemies, people can, harm others, just remove that organ. So we had to include all those things. And so that's why it's important, for countries whenever they are crafting their own laws to look at what really speaks to them and what areas of exploitation they see, and then they can, harmonize that.
Many forms of trafficking are sadly practiced in Uganda today, mainly due to ignorance of the perpetrators. Efforts by the Ministry of Internal Affairs to curb the vice, especially at borders, continue. To strengthen this, various laws to control the scourge regarding illegal movement of persons are in the offing at both international and regional level.
The East African community, the good thing also that happens, because when we have regional blocks like the East African community, I know that our very own Dora Byamukama, she was representing us at the East African Parliament. She's the one who fronted the law at that level. We also have engagements under IGAD, Intergovernmental Authority on Development, where we are liaising with different countries. Because one thing about human trafficking, you can't fight it on your own. When you tighten and you do a good job at borders, they'll use other countries as transit routes. So you have to collaborate, across borders. So right now we have also issues to do with, better migration, the Khartoum process, where the European Union has come up, to collaborate with the African Union. Because as you can see, the Mediterranean route, and when you saw, CNN, report the auctioning of people. And because people actually thought, it brought to light, because human trafficking is modern day slavery. People thought, slavery is something of the past. But to see that people are being auctioned, on TV and live on camera, it really painted this picture that, we are still with it. And those collaborations are critical across the road, because, the migration are mixed flows, so what happens in Uganda, if you are a developed country, you can't say that, oh, that's a Ugandan problem. No. Or this is an East African problem. It is a global problem, and people are making a lot of money. That's $150 billion, $1 million, which traffickers are reaping, from enslavement of people.
Before you accept what might look as an offer to advance your career or an opportunity for advancement, think twice, or you could end up in the hands of human traffickers. I am Rothina Seje, reporting for New Vision TV. Uganda marked the World Day Against Trafficking in Persons under the theme Uganda's efforts to combat and manage trafficking in persons, achievements, challenges, and the way forward. That is it we had for you today. Thank you for watching. Be sure to catch more news updates and other programs here on New Vision TV by visiting our website, which is newvision.co.ug/video. You can also follow us on social media. Facebook is The New Vision. Twitter is @NewVisionWire. Instagram is @NewVisionWire. And our YouTube channel is New Vision TV. Catch up with me on my Twitter handle I am Ruthie, the voice. I have to say good night, but let me end with a fact file.